Sweet Baby Inc. Now, they have a track record, and I mean, it's kind of hard to fight against it that everything they touch turns to crap. They have not worked on one successful game. And when they work on a game with a company, that company either ends up losing a lot of money, ends up having to fire a lot of people, or the game studio just ends up having to shut down completely. So these people are not good at what they do. Good people are getting laid off left and right whenever Sweet Baby Inc. is involved, while they suffer no pushback. They just keep making money. But Sweet Baby Inc. Infected South of Midnight hits Steam Early Access. Steam Early Access player counts are abysmal. Compulsion Games' latest games, South of Midnight, which has been infected by Kim Blair and her Sweet Baby Inc. consulting company, recently went into early access on Steam, and the player counts are not good. So early access, which means it's coming out in just a couple days, I think. According to Compulsion Games, South of Midnight is an action-adventure game that allows players to explore the mythos and confront mysterious creatures of the deep South. In a modern folk tale, while learning to weave an ancient power to surmount obstacles and unravel your family's hidden past. The game puts players in control of Hazel, who is called to begin a weaver. Who is called to become a weaver, a magical mender of broken bonds and spirits. Imbued with these new abilities, Hazel will confront and subdue dangerous creatures, untangle the webs of her own family's shared past, and, if she's lucky, find her way to a place that feels more like home. The game went into early access on Steam earlier today and put out a new launch trailer. Early player counts for the game do not look good. SteamDB reports the game hit a peak concurrent player count of 470. That's like Dustbin levels. Like Dustborn, no one played that crap. No one played that crap. And has already dropped below the peak. However, it is likely to continue to increase throughout the afternoon and into the evening as people are home from school and get off from work throughout the United States. However, these early numbers look really bad. On top of the lack of players, the game has only 19,000 followers and is ranked 108th in wish lists. It is currently just 126 in top sellers on Steam as well. It's going to be, and whose fault is it going to be? It's all going to be those pesky right-wingers somehow. Not it's not going to be Sweet Baby Inc.'s fault who infect these games with their bullshit and cause good people to lose their jobs and studios to close. No, it's the one calling them out. It's the ones calling them out. It's always our fault. These grown adults can never take responsibility for their own actions. If their games fail, if this company has this game fail, you really think they're going to say, oh, it's all Sweet Baby Inc.'s fault? No. It's those right-wingers. It's those MAGA Republicans. It's the racists, homophobes, transphobes, bigots, sexists. We're too fucking stupid to think of anything else. It's going to be our fault, as usual. Not the fact that you had consultancy from a studio or an agency that clearly has no idea how to write a good story or characters. No, it's our fault. Always, every time, all the time. The poor player counts are not at all surprising for a game that has Sweet Baby Inc. attached to it. Other recent releases from Sweet Baby Inc. worked on turned into commercial failures. For example, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn only hit 648 when it was released in June 2024. Similarly, Unknown 9 Awakened. God, that game was so boring. I've said this before. That game was so boring. I was watching Vera Dark play it, and I turned it on just to fall asleep. That's how boring that game was. And it wasn't her, because she's providing commentary, making jokes and all that. But the gameplay, the story was so boring. And Vera would play to late hours. You know, sometimes it's like 12, 1 o'clock, and she's still playing. I'm laying there and I'm falling asleep because it's just so bad. Maybe the biggest commercial disaster Sweet Baby Inc. was associated with was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The game only hit a peak concurrent player count of just 13,000 back in February 2024, and Warner Brothers Discovery had to take a $200 million impairment charge on the game. Not only does South of Midnight have Sweet Baby Inc. going against it, but the company itself made headlines last year when the community manager, Katie Robinson, declared she hates gamers after previously stating, "Ooh, white male gamers were a mistake." Yeah, who are the real racists here? Back in February 2024, Robinson, who uses the handle Pikachulita, "Honestly, I hate gamers." Well, then you're in the wrong fucking business, bitch. Back in an interview with Refinery 29 in 2022, Robinson also admitted to posting to social media, white male gamers were a mistake." She told the outlet, "They're not going to tickle some people's fancy being outspoken or tweeting like I do when I say white male gamers were a mistake. I like to think that my kind of presence acts as a way to kind of show people like, hey, you can be outspoken. You can have a backbone and stand for something and still be successful. While still being a fucking racist. Well, I call everyone else racist, even though I'm the real racist here." Furthermore, the company applauded Crystal Dynamics for including a trigger warning in front of the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remastered starring Lara Croft games. It wrote on Twitter, "Many video games are a product of their times they were created in. As we look to recreate and remaster these stories for modern audiences, it's important to consider the implications of these harmful portrayals and do our part to rewrite new history, not repeat it." Yeah, these game companies are fucking pussies now. You know, you have the company with Indiana Jones and the Circle of Travesty or whatever the fuck it was, the Dial, whatever, and it's like, "Hey guys, yeah, there's Nazis in this game, but we need to tell you that we don't associate with the Nazis. Nazis are bad people, and we just want you to know that just because we have Nazis in this game as the villains, that doesn't mean we associate with them." No fucking shit, dumbass. No fucking shit. Seriously, how fucking sensitive are people now that you need trigger warnings for games? Like, you might see things that are offensive to you because you're too much of a fucking pansy now. Or, "Hey everyone, we have Nazis as the villains in our game, and we just need you to know that we don't associate with the Nazi propaganda and ideology, and we just, please don't hate us and burn our place to the ground." Um, any day you get to witness woke garbage burned to the ground is a good day. The second everyone saw Sweet Baby Inc. logo appear on the reveal trailer, the game was dead on arrival. Also, when we found out the original MC was a white woman, it buried any chance of success. It's always funny when woke tards believe that being self-righteous and obnoxious is the same as having a backbone or principles. Yeah, very true. Um, but early access, which means again, it's it, it it's coming out very soon. This is like what, a day or two before it launches, and the fact that there's only this many people playing, that's, and you can't say, "Oh, it's Steam, John. It's Steam." Yeah, and when with Monster Hunter Wilds, like the first day, even I think early access even, it got up to like 2 million players. So I don't want to hear the "it's Steam." It's Steam as a fucking excuse. Many people, millions and millions of people around the world have Steam. And again, this is that 479 number right there. That's not in a state or a town or a country. That is worldwide. The entire globe, only 479 people played it. 479 people around the world, in all the countries, on all of the continents, only that many people played. So please try to twist this to make it seem like this is going to be a successful game. Because every time we say we'll give it the weekend, you know, it's Friday right now, we'll give it the weekend, surely, don't call me Shirley, surely the numbers will rise. And on release day, oh God, it is going to just blow through and just leave every other game in the dust. Every time we say something like that, what happens? Of course, we're saying sarcastically most of the time. But what happens? The game never does well, and especially when it has Sweet Baby Inc. attached to it. Again, this is a company that has sunk every other company that it's worked with, whether it be the company having to lay off employees or going out of business completely. This consultancy agency has never had a successful game. So I'm just waiting for all the fucking the typical people to come out and try to twist this like it's somehow our fault, or that's, oh, there's not many people playing it because everyone is racist. So there's only 479 non-racist people in the world. There's only 479 non-racist gamers in the world. Please. Surely you must understand how fucking stupid you sound when you say crap like that. Because they're going to try to do all these mental gymnastics and try to bend over backwards for a company instead of just acknowledging that Sweet Baby Inc. just sunk another game. Instead of doing that, no, they're going to come out and leave the company alone. Every time. Like clockwork. Like clockwork. But early access and only this many people around the world. Again, not in a town or a city or a state or a country. This is worldwide. And just for Steam, which tends to have very big, beepy numbers, this number is pathetic. But sure, bend over backwards, do your mental gymnastics, try not to break your back or your neck, and try to, you know, when the game fully releases and the game just doesn't do well, try to justify it. Well, it's because of all the racists and all the bigots and all the homophobes and the transphobes and the far-right extremist MAGA supporters. Yeah, we've heard it before. We've heard it before. Those words mean nothing anymore. But, yeah. South of Midnight doesn't look like it's going to do too well, but, you know, who knows? It could surprise us, just like all those other games that failed. It could surprise us and somehow become Game of the Year. Game of the Year. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.